Okay, so we're looking at it. It's a drill, but it's also a very important adjustment in your technique for being effective in actual fighting. Is that when he throws an angle 1 at me and I roof block it, there's a tendency to separate. Beginners do this too, to separate motions and to overdo it. All right, to pull it through to here and then come back, and that's more or less its proper form. But then you find that in real application, you need the follow-up attack to land sooner. So he throws a 1, and if I can link them better and right off of this motion come right back, you find that you're doing what essentially is a tilted figure 8. All right, and the mark of more advanced stick fighting and knife fighting is that you overlap defense and offense physically. They mechanically go well together, where he throws it and I go, and I can hit sooner. I sacrifice maybe a little bit of power, but I get it there sooner. But the main power comes from the hips anyways, and that's the point I want to make, is that the wrist, being able to reverse direction, allows you to go from defense into offense and defense into offense very, very quickly. And also, what people do is they turn too much and shift too much, and that delays the follow-up. So if you're aware of physically what you're doing, as you're throwing up a roof block and throwing a 1, you can shorten those motions up, and then you can hit them on the half beat. And that's the thing we're doing now, is instead of hitting in tempo like this, we can do it as a drill, where if I can do it wide and he does it. So we do a nice wide recoil and then hit again, but then we can shorten it. The danger there is that you don't want to shorten it so much that you're just kind of waving your magic wand, right? That's another thing that maybe beginners will tend to fall into, and they lose power. But there is an in-between. There's a nice compromise there where you can actually get a full roof block, but still come back. And if he's not doing the same thing, he gets hit. All right? Now the same thing happens on the other side where he throws a 2, and my umbrella connects to my 2, and his 2 connects to his umbrella, and we shorten it up. We can open it up a bit and hit bigger and harder, but then we can also shorten it up. All right? And so there's benefit to either one. At any given moment when you're fighting, you have to decide, do I need it to land sooner? Which is another way of saying, but not exactly that, I need more speed. Or do I need it to hit harder? And so you have both by whether either opening up the motion or shortening it to where you can get in sooner. And what I said earlier about it being faster or landing sooner, when I do a short motion and I overlap my defense and offense, I make myself structurally faster, which is I can land an attack sooner because I shorten the motion rather than having to physically be faster. And you'll find, like a lot of the old masters, you see them fight with sticks and knives, and they seem to land on time. They find the gap and they can land the weapon then because they have found ways to shorten a motion. It isn't that they become necessarily physically stronger or move faster. It's that they found a way to shorten the motion and get it there because it needs to be there in order to get in that gap. And so that's a mark of experience. You'll see people do that. So when we start off with this one, it's roof to 1. We can open it up a little bigger, and then we can shorten it up. And like I said, it approximates a figure 8 motion, which is a familiar motion that also comes from the turn of the wrist and a little bit of rotation of the shoulder. And then we have the umbrella to the 2. All right. And notice also the shift of weight. I talked about that earlier. The way I'm shortening it to do this is very similar to like in boxing where you learn separate punches, but you wouldn't necessarily throw a full hook and come here before you throw a cross. You wouldn't necessarily do a full pivot and shift of weight. When you're in mid-combination, you do short versions of that. You're shifting one way and you're already reversing direction. Boom, 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 boom. And that's very similar. In fact, it's identical in the body mechanics from the waist down to what you're doing with the stick.